I have a feeling that they're definitely going to start making room for smart cities and things of that nature. Greetings and gratitude, everybody. If y'all are new here, my name is Cassandra. I'm the witch, author, and poet of Magic of Eden. Welcome to your new spiritual safe haven. And if y'all are returning, hey family, welcome back to our sacred garden. I'm always honored, excited, and elated to be in your presence. We're going to be getting into hopefully an encouraging message, because there are some things that I just kind of wanted to talk about and to discuss with you guys and whatnot. And that is regarding the fires that happened in LA. Now, one of the things that I do not like to do is I don't like to just kind of jump on board because that's what the internet is doing. In fact, I like to kind of take my time and give you guys messages when I feel that they are appropriate. Now, for those of y'all that don't know me, I am notoriously known for merging the arts of poetry and magic, but I also am someone that is notoriously known for predicting things with and without astrology, with my own intuition, with being in meditation, and just sometimes it comes at the most random times. And I have been known for making very accurate predictions. There are, however, some predictions that I do make that I don't come on the internet and say, and the reason is because there are so many things that comes through my intuition. I don't want to start a panic. I don't want to start or feed into any fear mongering. So there are some things that I do keep to myself. However, I have learned a very hard lesson with doing that. So I'm actually going to be sharing a lot more of my predictions, my downloads, my intuitive visions and whatnot with you guys in hopes that it helps our collective family. Now, speaking of which, I actually did write down some notes on January the 11th at 9:27 p.m. And these were some of the notes that I wrote down, as you can see. And then there was one final note that I wrote down. It was on the 15th, actually, at 3:43 p.m. There was only one thing that I wrote down, but I'm going to go ahead and give you guys those messages now. And I'm also going to be pulling some cards as well, just to, give us any additional messages that we may need to hear. I'm going to be working with the gold foil tarot. I've been really drawn to this gold foil tarot deck, and I think the reason is because, for one, gold is very precious, right? It's more real than, Federal Reserve notes and things of that nature. And I feel that using this deck is appropriate because I feel like one of the messages that actually have been coming through is about getting things that are tangible, like gold and silver and coins and precious metals and things of that nature, and starting to really accumulate those things. But not even just that. One of the things that I've been coming through recently is, and not just regarding the LA fires and whatnot, and also if you guys are experiencing any type of lack because of what happened with with the fires and whatnot, I'm just want you guys to know that I'm sending you all of my deepest, best wishes, all of the love that I possibly have. Spirit does not only want us to collect like gold and silver and things like that, but there's been something about pulling from the earth, like pulling organically from the earth, and what the word is retrieving, like retrieving things that are from the earth, like crystals and other types of things that we can use as a community, not only to go into our technology, but that we can trade and barter with. And that's something that that's been coming through. There's a major emphasis on community building and creating like in-person experiences. And as I say that, I need to go ahead and read you guys what I wrote down. I know that this is kind of everywhere, but just hanging there with me, you guys. I'm going to do the best I can to keep it organized. But the kind of vibe that I've been having recently is just to kind of talk, right? Like if I were talking to you in person versus me sounding all like scripted and things like that. I don't want to sound that way. So if it's kind of everywhere and disorganized, forgive me for that. Like I said, I just want to have an up close and personal conversation with you. Okay. So one of the things that came through, and trigger warning, right? If you don't want to hear anything about that, go ahead and click out. But I'm going to be saying some things that may be very angering to some people. All right. So basically, one of the things that I have written down here is fight back and defunding. And with that, I ended up seeing the justice card. Okay, and then I ended up hearing catastrophe, rage of war, the fire was started, there is hope, follow the seeds and follow the paper trail. And when I heard that the fire was started, the Knight of Wands came out after that, because at the time I was also pulling cards and whatnot. So when I heard that, that's when I ended up seeing the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is one of those cards where it points to, it's a knight, obviously, right? So it takes an order from the king or queen, and it goes out to either deliver a message or it goes out to complete an action. And when you're looking at a card like the Knight of Wands, it's a fire card, and obviously it takes an order, right? Because it wants to level up to get to kingship or queenship, right? I know that there's also information going on the internet talking about, you know, these fires are purposely started. I'm going to say that intuitively, I 100% know for a fact that this is not anything that was an act of God. There's an actual legal definition. I'll go ahead and put it up here somewhere, or put a picture up. But the legal definition of an act of God is actually when there's something that happens drastically that is outside of our control, something that we did not start. And with that, I'm telling you that I can feel that this is actually 100% making way for you guys already. And I'm pretty sure you guys already know, but I have a feeling that they're definitely going to start making room for smart cities and things of that nature. Also, what I feel like is that this was something that was underway years and years and years ago. They've been putting it in movies. They have been, you know, programming us to get, or they've been desensitizing us enough to where we can get used to seeing it. And it's been like that a lot. And one of the things that I also feel is that if you guys hear anything in the background, it's my 3-year-old. He's excited. And I feel like he's going to come into this room at any moment. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it started back when, you know, when that whole thing happened with, you know, C19, if you want to call it that. And there he is, you guys. He's in. Hey, baby. What's going on? Or are you off the potty? What do you need? Okay. You have your tablet, but can you go? Can you go? Thank you. What was I saying? Yeah, they've been doing a lot of things. They've been preparing us for like a while. Oh, yes. It was back during C19, where that was just kind of like them getting started with seeing how far they can go. And as I say that, the Sun card is here. So I know that I'm onto something. The Sun card is definitely here. So yeah, it definitely started with that, because I feel like there was a test that was going on, and they wanted to see like how I feel like that in itself is just like a lot. But I'm not going to get too deeply into that, because there's some things that you want to be careful that you talk about here in this space. I feel like that's something that I'm going to be talking about more on the podcast. And I feel that way because it feels more appropriate. Like, I don't feel like this is the space to really go too deeply into that. But what I will say is that there are things that were put into place to kind of test this out, or they were making us like the guinea pig. And I feel like it started there. I feel like they were wanting us to get used to being separate. Like, they wanted us to get used to being away from each other so that we're easier to pick off, and so that we're easily, like, the more divided that we are, the easier it is to control us. But I also feel that at this point, they're very desperate. And when I say what I mean is that the people that we give the power to. Anyway, so basically, I can feel in my spirit that these are things that were a part of a design. And I feel like I want to mention too that this has everything to do with us being pushed more into this digital age, and us being pushed into a space where everything can be tracked, everything can be traced. And I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that loosely. I'm saying that because I can feel it. I can see it. I had dreams about transhumanism and all that. Like, these are things that I can feel that we're heading into. In fact, I feel like we're already there. There are people who walk around who have chips in their palms. And I know that because when I went to Whole Foods, I'm currently in Virginia, you guys. So when I went to Whole Foods, they already have like the palm readers. And that to me is wild. And I remember like talking to one of the cashier, And I was just like, oh my God, like, have you ever seen anyone use it? And then they were just like, yeah, it's super creepy. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And then we just kind of laughed like, yeah, we're not about that. So it was kind of wild to see that. Yeah, it's already here. But with that also comes, especially because Pluto's going to Aquarius, we're going to be challenged more, what Spirit is saying, to start to integrate technology and really push our limits when it comes to technology and things like that, and breakthroughs when it comes to technology. But Aquarius is a very innovative sign. It's a sign that it's a very futuristic sign, and it thinks about things that are to come, and also it thinks about, well, how can I use my mind to implement these new ideas in order to structure and make these things real? Because if you guys don't know this, Aquarius's original ruler actually is Saturn, but with Aquarius being an air sign, it deals a lot with technology, a lot to do with the internet, a lot to do with things of that nature. So I feel like with that comes a responsibility that we'll have to really get to know technology a bit more, to see how we can use it to our advantage. And with that comes the download that we are being called to figure out how we can use this to our advantage as a collective in order to help put it in our communities so that we can thrive again. And I feel like that is the reason why Spirit is really wanting us to really start focusing more on community. I've been getting visions a lot about farmers markets. Like, I keep seeing farmers markets. I keep seeing like these pop-up shops, and I keep seeing things happening and being orchestrated in person. That's something that has been coming through a lot, and it's been coming through like the past year or so. And I feel like the reason why this is because Spirit has really been wanting us to head more towards and integrate more of this community type of vibe. And I remember there was something that I was being brought to. There was this, I don't know if you guys ever seen that video over the internet where it was during, C19, where everyone was like separate, right? And there were these people that were playing like out of their window, like they had these instruments and things like that, and they were all coming together, and it was so beautiful. Like, we all had a beautiful moment. And I feel that the reason why Spirit brought me to that moment was because we are being called to not only use art as a way to get a message out, but use art as a language that we all can understand. And that in itself will help to not only raise our vibration, but it helps to bring us together as a community. And I feel like if you are listening to this, then chances are you are someone that is also being called to help with your community. Do things more in person, right? You don't have to put everything on the internet. You don't have to put everything on Instagram or everything on TikTok or everything on these digital platforms. In fact, Spirit is saying that if you really want to make it, you really want to create in-person things, because it's these in-person things that are going to help to bring you closer to your community. With that, there has also been, and as I say that, oh my God, we have the Ten of Cups here. See, everything is just so in alignment. Everything is in alignment. We have the Ten of Cups. Can you guys see that? I'm sorry if it's too much of a glare. Ten of Cups is definitely here. We have the Sun card so far and the Ten of Cups. And I feel like oh my God, and the Six of... Stop it. Like, by now, you guys should know that once I start talking, right, for those of you guys that are old, that are family members at this point, that are Eden family members, you guys know that when I start talking, it starts to reflect in the cards, and that means that we're hitting on something, okay? What else came through was surveillance, and yes, with smart cities comes surveillance and social ranking systems. And then I heard digital cops, and then that's when I heard that it started with C19, if you catch my drift. And then also the last note that I have here from January 15th at 3:43 p.m. is start making in-person organizations, as I was just stating. And then we have community groups, organizations, keep the community in mind. All you need is an idea. And that came through at 3:45 p.m. So I've been seeing a lot of numbers that are in chronological order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. So I've been seeing these numbers go in chronological order, and I've also been seeing 444 a lot and 333. So maybe these are things that you guys have also seen a lot of, and I feel like the reason is because we're meant to be building something with the community. I cannot stress this enough. If you guys go back and look on my Instagram, you guys know that I have been talking about community for the longest time now. It's been at least about a couple of years, and I've been telling you guys to save your seeds. If you guys are new to my channel, I'm going to let you guys know right now, I want you to please start saving your seeds. If you have to go grocery shopping and then save the seeds from there, do what you must do. Go to YouTube. I'm sure that you're already on YouTube, obviously, but after this video, maybe you feel called to going to other videos where you can actually learn how to homestead. I really feel like we are going to need that, because there's something that we are going to be doing as a community, but I'm hearing globally, there's something that we need to return to. Mom and pop shops, I see that happening. Your apothecaries, your holistic healing, right? These are all things that are going to become a part of the new normal. In fact, I feel like it is part of the new normal now. And if you're not used to seeing it, get ready to start seeing that, because there's going to be people that are going to be what Spirit is calling the resistance. I don't know why that's been coming through, but I'm going to trust it. There's this vibe of people that are going to be orchestrating these, orchestrating things behind the scenes, and not only behind the scenes, but they're going to be doing things off of the internet with their communities, and it's going to be more word of mouth. And I feel like your apothecaries are going to start back booming. I'm not even kidding. Justice card is also here. I feel like, yeah, even with that, and I feel like the time is actually coming sooner than what we think. And these are cards that are just coming out, you guys. I'm not purposely looking for these cards. This is the Eight of Wands. This is also a time where we can come together and say, what can I do for the community? What can I contribute? Because now it's going to be about contribution. And this is the reason why authenticity is essential, because if you know what you are gifted at, if you know yourself, Aries energy, if you know thyself, then you know what you can contribute to your communities, which can ultimately help. If you are someone that got money, right? If you got money here, right? This is so funny. Ace of Pentacles. If you guys can see that. I don't think you guys can see it because of the glare. I'm so sorry. There we go. If you guys got money, it's time to start donating. It's time to start creating your own things in person. With this whole social ranking system, there are going to be people that are going to stand out because there are personalities that people tend to gravitate towards. The same way that us as, having a human experience, us as spirits and bodies, we gravitate towards the light at times because we want warmth. There are people out there in this world who naturally exude warmth in their personality. So Spirit's message to you is that don't feel like just because you're not this really loud and vibrant personality that you won't make it, or that you don't have what it takes to build a community, because sometimes that person with that personality may only be the face of it, but that does not mean that they are the brains behind it. It's not to say that they're dumb, but it is to say that we all have a role to play. And so don't feel like just because you're not more of a favorable personality that you won't make it or that you won't be successful. In fact, we need all different types of personalities, because that is how we understand the universe. That is how we understand each other, right? We are literally here in existence. We are existence. All of this is just nothing but thoughts anyway. So they're just simply thoughts bouncing on top of each other. But then what happens when we start to organize those thoughts? What happens when we start pulling wisdom from these different expressions? We then can create a symphony that we all can dance to and that we all can vibe with. And I feel like that is essentially where we're headed now. Hey guys, I wanted to come back because I needed to kind of tell you guys about social ranking system, because I started talking like a mile a minute and I really got to go back so I can let you guys know what I mean. So essentially with this social ranking system, what this looks like is that if you are not someone who is a favorable part of society, then you will be outcasted, right? And I really do feel like that is something that is on the brink. I feel that if you look like you're not happy, if you make the wrong move, right? Essentially what can happen is that you can run the risk of being outcasted. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one episode from, I think it was like Black Mirror, where I can't remember the exact name, but I'll make sure to put it in here after I'm done editing. I'll put the name here somewhere. But essentially what that looked like was they were all just trying to make it, right? They were very favorable. They had to kind of fake it till they made it, but they also had to make it come across as if they were being authentic, but everybody was just pretending. And it was really because they didn't want to be outcasted. They wanted to have money. They wanted to live comfortably. As humans, right, we tend to do that anyway, but I feel like it's going to be exacerbated with all of the things that we have coming in. For example, AI that is here. We have the digital age that is definitely here, right? I'm feeling like what Spirit is wanting you to know, what Spirit is wanting us to know, is that we are so beautiful as we are, and we are all on this journey together. And no matter what anyone tells you, you as a unique soul are important, and you as a unique soul have a gift that could be shared with this world. And don't think for one second that you are not important, that just because you're not someone's flavor means that you are just not worthy of showing up, that you're not worthy to be paid, that you're not worthy of just simply existing. And I feel like with this social ranking system, it can really mess with people's heads, thinking that, or it can make them kind of think that who they are just simply isn't good enough, or it's not worth them even putting their personality out there to even, or even give themselves a chance to put themselves out there to receive, the wealth that they deserve. And I feel that with this wealth, I feel like it's going to be in the hands of the people, but also the fact that it's going to be in your hands, you have to be responsible enough to know what you need to do with it, right? But I just wanted to insert this as a part of that message because I feel like I just kind of went off on a whim and forgot to talk about that. I'm seeing also is that we want to be on the lookout and we want to be aware and use our discernment. And the reason is because there are people who will use these vibrant personalities to bring you in to take from you. And I also feel what I'm hearing is the word perpetrator, and that they come across as spiritual gurus and that they come across as spiritual individuals or enlightened ones. And I feel that there are some people that you really want to be careful with. And this is the reason why Spirit is saying that they want you, if you're listening to this, to form things in person, because then you can feel the energy. Like, it's one thing for us to read energy through a picture. I know I can do things like that. I don't know if you can. If you can, let me know down in the comments, right? Where you could just kind of get a sense of someone based off of a picture. Those are really cool gifts, and I love that. But what Spirit wants us to do is, again, be in person. There is an emphasis on us being in person because we can feel it out. Like, I feel like we can feel it, we can see it, right? And it's not just about being in the physical, it's just about creating this closeness. And I feel like we are going to need that. So if you were someone who was here looking for confirmation to see if these fires were started purposely, I want to say that as an intuitive, I can feel that absolutely yes. I have no proof, but that's just the mystery of it, right? Like, we're on here just kind of saying what we will. I do 100% believe that there are other things that could be a cause. There are other rational explanations. I just know that for me, it just does not sit right. And I feel like this is just, it's too planned. It's too synchronistic. It's just the timing of everything. It's off. The timing. Well, the timing isn't off per se, but it's the timing. If you get it, you get it, right? So yes, I really do feel that Spirit really is pushing us to start coming back together. Also, there's something specific about this being the year or the years of the artist. And I say that because I really can feel like if you are someone who is gifted, who has the gift of singing or poetry or writing, Spirit is saying for you to leave your mark and for you to tell the story as to what's happened, right? To document the story via your art, right? And with your art comes the memory of the things that we had to go through as humans, right? It leaves a mark and it tells the story of our human journey and what it looked like when we were journeying home. And I feel like there is this sense of contribution and us giving whatever we can. Not everybody has a lot of money. Not everybody has a lot of, funds to contribute. And so Spirit says, contribute what you can. If you are someone who has the means, Spirit is wanting you to give. I cannot stress this enough. I can just feel it. Like, I'm telling you. Also, what I'm hearing is that if you guys have been having anxiety about what's going on in politics, I want you guys to start working with Saturn and start working with Jupiter. I know that it's getting a little overwhelming, probably for some of you, because I'm talking like a mile a minute. At least I think I am. I don't know. But anyway, so for those of you guys that are wanting to find some type of ease throughout this time, I would highly recommend that you take more time to spend at your altar. And I also feel like it's important for you to start working directly with the planets. I am someone that likes to work directly with a specific planet during a specific time. I do not always work my magic during the full moon phases. Sometimes I will work my magic when I want to, work with Saturn, when I want to work with Jupiter, or if I want to work with Mercury or Venus, right? I like to work specifically with planets at times because that's the way that I feel called to work my magic. And I also will be including some more planetary magic candles on the website. The reason why I say this is because there's so much wisdom that can be drawn from these planets. And if you're working with Jupiter, then you're also working with politics. And if you're working with Saturn, then you're working with the legal system, legislation, you're working with documentation, you're working with laws, statutes, and codes foods and things of that nature. Those are all things that Saturn rules. And of course, Jupiter does rule higher wisdom, and he also does rule politics. So those are two planets that you want to be working with right now. And not only that, maybe you don't feel called to work with those two planets. That's perfectly fine. Maybe you feel called to work more with the lunar phases. That's fine. But what I would suggest is that you figure out this is going to be another video for another time. I just wanted to drop that gem, and I'm going to make another video separate to that. Because I can feel myself just kind of bouncing everywhere. Anyway, if you guys are having any type of anxiety or any type of fear in terms of what's going on with like law, what's going on with, politics, and what's going on with the government and things like that, I really do feel that this is the perfect time for you to start really understanding the power of you handling things yourself and you handling your own affairs. Get with people who have been walking the path for a while, who have their own affairs together, who have their own nations, who are into their own nation building, because I do see a lot more of that happening now, because people they're getting smart. They're understanding, the power of business, and they're understanding business and politics, how they go hand in hand, and also start getting your religious assemblies together. That's something that I'm currently working on. And the reason is because with what's going on in the world, you want to ensure that you yourself as a person is protected, right? And not even as a person, as a spiritual being in the flesh. I want to say that because when you start getting into legal terms, you start seeing, okay, this is what they mean by a person in legal terms, like, right? I'm not going to get into all of that, but what I will say is that I would highly recommend that you pick up this book. It is called The Constitution of the United States of America. And I also want you to start to look up your state's constitution as well, because each state or country really has their own constitution, and then there's one constitution for all of America. I want you guys to read this book. I really want you guys to start getting familiar with these articles, honestly. I really do think it is imperative, because you as a person, you as an individual, as a spiritual being, have the right to pursue happiness. That is really what this is all about. Like, you have the right to pursue happiness, no matter what that looks like, as long as no one is being harmed. And I say that, and you as a being deserve protection. And with what is going on in the world now, it is essential that we start enforcing what we have the right to do. And what better way to do that than through knowledge? What I'm understanding is, and what I've been picking up on, is that we have to start reading more. The Devil card has also been coming up a lot in readings privately. Look at that. Ten of Pentacles is here. The Devil card has also been coming up a lot, and I feel like the reason why is because we have to start getting familiar with laws, what we're agreeing to. We have to start getting more familiar with what we are agreeing to and the contracts that we're making. And I feel that the more that you read, the more that you know. So I feel that your best bet these days, you're going to have to start reading, and reading things that you're not used to reading, and doing things that you're not used to doing. And the reason is because with what we are going through as a collective, we are going to want to know. We're going to want to be in the know, and the best way that we can be in the know is by reading and staying in contact with each other. Another thing that came through also is handwritten communication. Handwritten communication is essential, because if it can be tracked and traced, it will be tracked and traced at some point. And there's something very specific about using the mailing system to get messages across. And I will talk about a dream that I had a while back about that, but I think I actually already did. It was in my story highlights. I'm going to be going back and looking at some of the predictions that I've made, and I'm going to be turning those into videos. That way we can have it and save it. And I'm thinking about also putting it on the podcast as well. I'm not really sure. We'll see. But yeah, these are all the messages that I have really to give in this video. I just want you guys to know that there is a reality where we all come together, we all win, and we do reclaim this shit. Like, we do. Like, it's a non-negotiable. I feel like a lot of us are going to start coming together, and we are no longer accepting the bullshit that these powers that be keep putting. Oh my goodness, we're going to start showing up for each other. See how everything is just so in alignment, you guys? Like, everything is so in alignment. Like, I feel like we are definitely going to be reclaiming. We're going to reclaim it. We're taking back what is ours. And what better way to take back what is ours than by defunding them and then putting that money into our communities? I'm not joking. I really feel that. So if you've been feeling this call, this urge to really start getting out there and putting your work out there, and now is your time to shine. now is definitely your time to shine. I'm telling you, if you are someone who is being called to be a community leader, this is your time. Start getting your affairs together. Start getting those foundations ready. Start really getting those things in order. And I feel like once you do that, then we're gonna take this shit back, you guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. Do not worry. Well, I can't tell you not to worry. Like, I know that it's easier said than done, right? I don't want to be insensitive and say don't worry, but what I will say is that we got this. Like, we got this in the bag. All we got to do is stay together. All we have to do is continue to show up in the best ways that we possibly can. All we have to do is just continue to share our gifts and our talents with our communities and use things to our advantage in a way that promotes unity, in a way that promotes love and balance, and then we will be fine. Okay, I love you guys. If y'all need anything from me, please be sure to visit me online at CassandraTurner.com. If you guys want to, you guys can also follow along with me over at Magic of Eden on Instagram. I'm always willing and ready to work with you guys. I love being with you. Thank you for spending time with me here today. And if there's nothing else, I'll catch you guys in my next video.